So this video is for cast iron support. I'm going to bring this to one side and this to the other side. And here's my title block. You just need these four things on right here. You've got dynamic input, ortho mode, isometric drafting, and two-dimensional object snap, which those four things are written on the board. If you have other things on, I would turn them off, because these are the only four that you actually need. So this is what we're going to draw, and I'll bring it up on the website because it's easier to zoom into like this. Alright, so it's going to be way larger than your title block, and I'm going to start with this right face right here. So I'm going to draw a line, go straight down, 100. And I'm going to zoom out and move this over so it's away from all that different stuff over there. Okay, so this distance right here is determined by how big this circle is on the bottom. This bottom circle right here says radius of 35. So 35 plus 35 is 70. So I'm going to go this direction, 70. And then I'm going to go down 100. Okay, so a new tool that we're going to learn today is called ellipse isocircle, which is written on the board. So these are not just regular circles, they are isocircles. A regular circle would be drawn and it would look flat like that, and obviously that doesn't work. So I'm going to turn isometric drafting back on, and what you have to do is type in the word ellipse and then click on the bottom where it says isocircle. And then whenever you click, it'll make a circle that is drawn isometrically. And if you want to flip the plane that it's on, you can hit F5. And it just flips the direction that the circle is going. So you may have to change yours. And the radius of this is 35. You just type in the number 35 like that. Now, back to a regular circle here. If I have a circle, these four edges of the circle are called the quadrant object snaps. So if you were dividing this circle into four different parts, this would be quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. It doesn't really work for three-dimensional isometric circles like this. Just wanted to mention that. So what you'll have to do in order to put this in the right spot is draw a line going across like that. You can trim it, but basically this needs to move to here. Erase the line there and trim the top of the circle so that you're left with just that. Okay? Another thing, just to draw out all the quadrants. All the quadrants are actually shaped like this. The quadrants of the circle. Okay, so all the curves that are going to be in this are going to be based off of these four quadrants. So you can trim whichever ones you need to trim later on. Okay, moving on. There's another circle in here that has a diameter of 48. So whenever you're drawing your isocircle, you can click down here if you need to do diameter because radius is the default. So click diameter and then type 48, enter. And then you're left with that. Okay, so now that I have that side face, I'm going to start working along the top. This line here is 7, and then this line on the bottom is 30, and then those two connect. Let me redo those because I didn't have ortho on. So I messed up. So this is 7, this is 30, and then connect. And that's that shape there. And then it goes down 22 because it said so right here. And then it goes over this direction 31. And then back up 22. And then this direction 32 because it says so right there. And then the depth of the object is 70 all around, meaning this line 70, this line 70, and there's another one here that we can't see. But we'll just draw the ones that we can see. 70 here, 70 here. Actually, this one doesn't exist. It's only these two. 70 here, and then up to there. And then this line just continues until you can't see it anymore. The actual length of this doesn't matter. It's technically 54, but you just draw it until you can't see it anymore. Okay, this line goes this direction, 32 as well. And then I've got this curve right here, which is a duplicate of this curve from the front, which has a radius of 26. So I'm going to draw the one in the front, ellipse, enter, isocircle, hit F5 to flip it the correct direction, radius of 26, enter. And then I'm going to draw my four, you don't have to draw all four of these, but to make it clear to you guys, I'm going to draw my lines in there, and I got to choose which corner that I need to use for this curve. And it's going to be this top left one, which means I have to move this point to here. Then I can erase all this stuff. Actually, let's leave that because I need this line coming down. Then I can erase those two and trim that off like that. So that creates that curve. This line should be 32, as it says right here, and then it bleeds right into that curve right there. Okay? This also happens in the back, and the back is 70 away from the front. So I can just take this arc and use copy and copy it back 70. And that gets me there. And then I can use object snap quadrant, which shows up as a diamond, to go from that corner to that corner and trim that edge off so that I'm left with just that. You don't actually see the whole arc right there. You just see that little bit of a shape right there. Okay? Then, there are a couple things that aren't mentioned on this drawing that my previous classes have figured out. For one, they don't mention how long this line or this line is. So this line here is going to be 32, and this line here is going to be 18. Okay, so this line coming down, I need to make 32, and the 18 one I'll get to later. So I'm just going to build this out here somewhere. So ellipse, enter, I enter, click, make a circle. This one has a radius of 14. Another ellipse from the center. This one has a diameter, so I have to click the diameter button at the bottom and type 16. So those are those two circles. And then I'm going to draw two lines going across so that I can make these two lines coming up in the correct spot. Trim the top part of the circle, and then I'm just left with this. So I can actually erase this, I believe, and move this so that it just comes up to there. So what I was saying earlier is this could be any different height. It doesn't specify on the drawing itself, but we decided to make this line 32. So just connect that up so that it connects into there. And this line will only be 18, but I'm not sure if that's right yet. Let's see. I made that 18. The goal is to have this space between here and here to be 18. So if I draw a line straight down from here, 18, it should line up. One quick note, don't offset things when you're drawing isometrically. Because if I offset this 18, you see how that's in an incorrect position? So never offset isometric. Just draw a line straight down, 18, and that's where this line should line up with. Okay? Now, the most difficult part is this little part that's cut out. I'm going to imagine as if this whole piece didn't have this 14 cut out, and I'm just going to draw it 37. Okay? In that case, I take this and copy it this direction, 37, enter, and then draw a line from quadrant to quadrant. And use trim to trim all this stuff out. Then what would happen is at this point it would start going up. Let's make it go all the way up to there and then trim these two pieces off. Okay? So what happens is this line is only 55, where on mine right now it's 60, so it needs to get 5 shorter. So I could just erase that and come down 55 and then come in 14, as it says right here. Enter, and then this will come down. Or I could just take these two parts and move them the 14 this direction. And if you do it correctly, you should have a little bit of a gap right there, and you just draw a straight line going up to connect them. That straight line ends up being 5. But you can notice on the drawing right here that there is a little gap that is, or a little straight line that's 5. Last two things is this little arc. The depth of this object is 37 minus 14, which is 23. So you're going to take this ellipse and copy it back 23. And then trim the circle to get that. And then the last thing is this circle up here. I'm going to draw an imaginary box right here, and then draw a diagonal line going across. That's where the center of this ellipse is going to be. And this is actually pointing to the wrong thing. It should be pointing to this circle, so we're going to give it a diameter of 20. Diameter 20, like that. And then we're going to erase our imaginary box, so that we're just left with this shape. And I forgot this little part down here. You just draw a line from the quadrant going back this direction, trim, and then that's the shape.